Welcome to Build Weekend Watch, a show that, unlike the Oscars this weekend, actually has a host. We got that one on you, ABC. Helping me today to go over the Academy's major nominations, we have Leigh Blickley, senior reporter for HuffPost, and Chris Rosen, editor-in-chief of TV Guide. Round of applause. Wow. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Another year down the drain. Wow. Another year of the best movies not getting nominated. But let's talk about the ones that were. The way this is going to work is we're going to say the ones that we think will win, and then we're going to say the ones we want to win. It's pretty simple. If you don't get that, yikes. Okay, first up, we have Best Doc Feature. The nominees are Free Solo, Hell County This Morning, This Evening, Minding the Gap, Of Fathers and Sons, and RBG. What will win, Chris?
What will win, I think, is going to be Free Solo.
I agree with that.
It was a huge documentary hit. People really have responded to it. It's won significant amount of like precursor kind of awards, and it just feels like of the movies here, that's like the biggest spectacle. And it was, kind of like I think it has the best shot of winning, and that's why I picked it.
It's also got massive crossover potential too. Like people who don't necessarily like documentaries or who watch documentaries that often generally saw Free Solo and really liked it. But what do you think is going to win?
Well, I was bummed because my two favorite documentaries this year, Won't You Be My Neighbor and Three Identical Strangers, were not nominated.
Outrageous snubs.
It's outrageous. So
again, this is about the movies that were nominated.
Okay, yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
So I had to pick. Free Solo will win. I agree with that. I actually I'm just in this moment of RBG. So I just would really... I think it should win.
You think RBG should win?
But you guys are going to fight me on this.
Well, it's interesting what we've chosen and what you've chosen, I think, because the woman on the stage has chosen the women's empowerment documentary, and the men on the stage have actually chosen the documentary about toxic masculinity.
But it's like investigating toxic masculinity.
So we're perfect. Let's hash this out, guys.
I think you're maybe accurate in that RBG actually could win because it is like a big hagiography on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it is got a lot of the... it's an empowering movie that I think, Oscar voters are going to be like, I loved RBG. Similarly, how we'll probably talk later about how Best Picture might go. So I could see it winning, but I don't think it should win. It's not very good. That's
really
the only
not
problem.
It's really not great.
Now that I think about it,
This is my fight
maybe
song.
it will win, but should it win? I just think in this moment, I think RBG has a good shot.
I mean, I don't think you're
But I want to say,
base.
if we're going by in this moment, then I would say a movie like Hell County This Morning, This Evening should win.
Now that's
right?
one I didn't see,
Well,
but
Hell
you
County,
were just...
Yeah, Hell County This Morning, This Evening is about an extremely poor town in, I believe, Alabama or Arkansas. Excuse me, I just saw it recently, but I don't remember. And it's all very much a tone poem with very thin strands connecting characters, almost no narrative, intentionally so. And it's sort of breaking apart what you expect or want a documentary to be, but at the same time still being very beautiful and heartbreaking. I mean, for that to win would just kind of shatter what we think of as a best documentary movie. And it's also about things right now that we're talking about all the time. Poverty, race, without very much being on the nose, which I think RBG is very much on the nose.
You know what? I like on the nose stuff sometimes. I know that you guys though like Minding the Gap, which I love too. Is that the one you think?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think that should win, but I don't think it will win. I think the nomination is a win for it, Minding the Gap, because it allowed that film to maybe reach a lot more broader of an audience, maybe who hadn't heard of it or even thought about it. It's available to stream on Hulu. If you haven't watched it, you could watch it right now after we're done talking about it.
Or go now.
Just go now.
It's better than
it's
this.
a great movie. But yeah, no, I think that should win. I think that's a movie that will probably if you're looking at that list. The movies that will last 5 years from now, I think the legacy of Minding the Gap, it has kind of almost it feels like a modern-ish version of how Hoop Dreams was such a game-change documentary.
Do you think that, who votes, you would know this answer more so than I do, do you know who votes in the documentary categories when it comes to the actual awards? Because the nominees this year, because of all of the sort of new Academy kids that have been brought in, we got some of these amazing nominations that are totally unexpected.
Leigh, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the branches vote for the categories and everybody votes for Best Picture. Right. So documentary branch selected these five films. So if you saw one of these movies where you're like, oh, why did that get nominated or how did that get nominated? That means it might have a ton of support. And whereas the Won't You Be My Neighbor or Three Identical Strangers got left out, that means a Minding the Gap, which maybe was an unexpected nominee, could actually win. Yeah. But you never know once the voting happens. Who knows?
It's also because of that preferential voting system that the Academy has. So I feel like people went in thinking, oh, well, people are going to vote for Won't You Be My Neighbor. I won't have to put it at the top of my list because it's definitely going to be on there. And then they just didn't put it on there, and then it didn't end up, getting the slot, is what I think. Because that was my favorite documentary of the year. But, I'm not in the Academy, so.
Next up, we have Best Adapted Screenplay. The nominees for this are The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. I'm just going to say that I'm pretty sure A Star Is Born will win this, and I think it will be maybe the only award that it wins of
Not
the
even
evening.
Shallow?
Maybe the song, sorry.
It's gonna
the
win
song.
Shallow.
Wow, I can't believe you think it's going to win script. That would be an outrageous upset. And
do you
I don't
think- why? What do you
disagree
think will
with
take
you.
it?
Well, I think Black Klansman will win because while I don't think the script of that movie is terrific, I think it will allow them to reward Spike Lee because he's a co-writer on the screenplay. So Spike Lee obviously never won an Oscar in competitive. He was given a Governor's Award. And he's nominated for Best Director, which we'll get to later. Spoiler alert, I don't think he's going to win Best Director, but I think this would be a legitimate way to get him up on the stage. And usually with screenplay awards, we'll do this with original screenplay too in a few, they kind of reward the movie that's not going to win Best Picture, right? So it's like Black Klansman got a lot of nominations. People really enjoyed that movie. It was, the response to it was really strong. This is a way to say, hey, great job, Black Klansman. It might not win any other award on Sunday night. So that's why I think it will win.
That's how I feel about Can You Ever Forgive Me, is that it's such a good nominee, and it's probably not going to win in other categories. I'm hoping for Richard Grant, but so I think they might just throw it to them, and they did actually win the Writers Guild Award,
So
too.
both of you say Black Klansman will win. You say Can You Ever Forgive Me should win. What do you think should win?
I think If Beale Street Could Talk should win. I'm still blown away that movie did not get as much Oscar buzz as I think it deserved. It was a really great movie. Barry Jenkins' script adapting James Baldwin's novel is amazing. I think it's just like really, really great work. And I know that it just, for whatever reason, it did not connect as much with Oscar voters as Moonlight did 2 years ago. But I mean, it's just an incredible work. I think Barry Jenkins is one of the easily, not a groundbreaking thing here, but he's one of the best filmmakers going right now, and he's also a great screenwriter. So it would be nice if he won for his work on that script, and I know he spent a lot of time on it, and it's difficult to adapt James Baldwin in a really, meaningful way, and I think he really nailed it. So that's what I think should win, but it won't.
I think The Ballad of Buster Scruggs should win.
Great.
Love this movie.
It's a great pick, and it's a great movie.
I thought The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, while it might not be as good as If Beale Street Could Talk, was one of the most watchable, rewatchable, fun movies that I watched this year, and was very smart.
Underrated, rewatchable movie. I think of all the Netflix movies we've seen, that is perfect for Netflix because the way it's an anthology movie, you kind of could pop it on. I've watched it 3 or 4 times, honestly, just having it on in the background or
I think
going
I watched
back.
the Tom Waits one
The Tom
3 or
Waits
4
one's
times.
amazing. The
Watched it once, but you guys are really ahead of me.
Tim Blake Nelson one is amazing. I mean, it's a really great.
Do you think there's any chance? I know we're not going to be talking about song in our categories, and while we say The Shallow, do you think there's any chance that a cowboy gets his
No.
wings could take the Shallow?
No,
Take
I
Shallow?
wish, but no.
No.
Really, you want to see Shallow lose?
No, I want to
No,
see.
it's going to win.
I love Shallow. I love
Yeah.
Stars Born, but I mean, to have that Tim Blake Nelson crazy song win an Oscar would be ridiculous.
Okay, let's move on to original screenplay. Our nominees are The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. What do you guys think?
Well, I just tossed in there that I think The Favorite will win. I'm a huge fan of The Favorite. I love that movie. And I don't know if it's going to win too many awards. Again, I don't think it has a shot at Best Picture, but they could give it a screenplay. But if we're going by what should win, it's 8th Grade. It's not on this list. And that movie was so freaking good. I'm so pissed off it's not on this list.
It's pretty nuts that it's not on the list. It actually won at the WGA or the Writers Guild Awards in original screenplay. The Favorite was not nominated because of the way the guild rules work. It's if it's not written under the umbrella of the guild, it's not eligible. But 8th Grade was a great script. I agree with you. It really probably should have won, but I think The Favorite will also win.
So you guys think The Favorite will win?
I think it will win, and I think it should win of these nominees.
Why do you think it will win, though?
I think it will win because of what Lee just said. I think it was the co-nominations lead. It had 10 nominations tied with Roma. But it's not really expected to win anywhere else. There's been a little bit of a groundswell for Rachel Weisz recently, and we could talk about that in a few too. But I think it's got a very good shot of going home with like maybe one award, and that would be this. I think it's like usually with screenplay, again, you kind of reward the movie that people like that has a Best Picture nomination but isn't going to win other awards. So like last year, Get Out, Jordan Peele won in this category, and they didn't win any other awards for Get Out. So if you're going with that logic, in the past, you've seen winners like Sofia Coppola for like Lost in Translation, et cetera, et cetera. It's like that's what the favorite would win because it's like we like the favorite.
So do you think there's no way when it comes to should win, there's no way that First Reformed takes it?
I mean, it could, like...
I think only if they're ready to give Paul Schrader his deserved...
Which they could
In
be.
his
credit.
80s.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
It
But
would not
again, it would be like one of those Oscars that's like, here, I feel bad for you. But
I'm
it's
okay
not-
with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, First Reformed, I can't say that. It's a great script, of course. It's nominated. I just... If it does win, it will be because they just feel guilty that they haven't given him an Oscar in the past.
Fair.
You're rooting for it.
I'm rooting for it. I mean, I love me some Paul Schrader. First Reformed was my #1 movie of the year. Okay, Best Director, guys. You guys ready to talk about this?
Yeah.
Let's just scratch Adam McKay from this list, please, because
How?
Vice, I hate
Oh,
Vice.
wow. I kind of liked it.
I
In a
hated
perverse way, I
Vice.
really did.
You did not like
You, Ricky,
Vice.
No,
did
but
not
I want to
like
hear more about you hating Vice
I
for a
just
second.
think, first of all, it's nominated too in Best Editing. That is the thing that drove me nuts about the movie. I'm just not a fan
Bohemian
of Vice.
Rhapsody is nominated for Best Editing. Come on.
That
Okay.
category is just bad.
So
but
our nominees are Spike Lee for Black Klansman, Pavel Pawlikowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and Adam McKay for Vice. I believe all of us think the person who will win is Alfonso Cuarón, right?
yes, he's
Yeah.
pretty much won every award leading up to the Oscars.
Yeah.
But should win Spike Lee.
Yeah, I would agree.
I
I
agree.
think Spike Lee should win. I think it would be not near... Like, Black Klansman is not nearly one of his, best movies, I would argue.
It's also not the best directed movie on this list,
It's
but
not,
give it to Spike
but
Lee.
it's like if you have the opportunity to reward Spike Lee, it's kind of like I think the comparable here would obviously be like Martin Scorsese with The Departed. I think The Departed is like a way better movie than Black Klansman, so I was, I could see it, but I'm like,
I
it's
think
still
also
a good
the
movie.
the big difference there is that people also went in loving The Departed versus like just kind of given Scorsese. Like we've said in retrospect that he should have gotten the award for movies before that,
Right.
but people actually loved The Departed going into that.
And I think Spike Lee does a great job with Black Klansman. I mean, my wife and I just watched it again last night. It's good, and it's like there's some sequences in that movie that are on par with some of the best things he's done. I think the overall movie kind of is hit and miss, and certainly the ending, I think just the way it's even structured and put together is a little odd. Not the very end where it cuts to like Charlottesville and like real life footage, which is a really powerful ending. But I mean, overall, it's Spike Lee. And Alfonso Cuarón won in this category for Gravity like 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, whatever it was at this point. And, Rome is great. It's going to win a ton of awards. Why not Spike Lee?
Do the right thing, Academy.
That was
Wow.
great.
Is that a reference of some kind, Lee? What is that a reference to? Is Spike Lee who you would like to win as well?
I would. And can we just picture Spike Lee on that stage too, giving a speech? It would just be so much better than Alfonso Cuarón's, I think Roma is amazing, but I think Alfonso has a shot too at like cinematographer and of course Best Picture. I think just give this to Spike, give him the moment he deserves for all the films he's done in his career. That's just...
My fear with Roma is that it gets overlauded this year and that people there's a backlash against it because it is an incredible...
It's so
like
good.
an absolutely stunning, jaw on the floor, incredible movie that will in 15 years, it's like the 400 Blows or something, which people should always return to it and talk about it. Hopefully, these Oscars don't ruin it in some
You
way.
never know. It could just win every award, and we're just talking about all this for nothing.
Right. I mean, it's true. It could win a ton. So,
Do you think it could?
well, yeah, a little bit. I mean, we're going to, yeah.
As amazing as I think Roma is, I'm still kind of shocked that the Academy is taking to it the way that it is. I know that it loves Alfonso Cuarón, but it is a slow, personal, intimate movie about a maid.
And it's on Netflix, which I'm interested to see how the Academy awards Netflix films.
I've been reading that lots of voters are not voting for it simply because of the Netflix thing.
The backlash against it, I think, for Best Picture, which we'll talk about, is A, the Netflix thing, and then B, I've seen some anonymous Oscar voters where they are saying, well, I'm not going to vote, if it's going to win Best Foreign Language Film, I'm not going to vote for it for Best Picture, and vice versa, because they don't think it's fair that it could win both. whether that's warranted or not, I don't necessarily agree.
I don't think it's fair because I'd like to see Cold War win something.
Just gonna bring that up because you
That
love
could
that
happen.
movie.
Yeah. I mean, Cold War.
Cold War has a couple of chances against Roma because, I mean, I guess the one spot would be cinematography, where it's also was maybe an unexpected nominee. But Ida was Paweł Pawlikowski's last film, won in the cinematography category, I think.
And won Best Foreign Film, I
won
believe.
Best Foreign Film that year. So if it won Best Cinematography, that could be an upset where Roma loses Best Cinematography because Cuarón is going to win Best Director, and maybe Cold War gets not win there.
Foreign language will be interesting.
Who would you guys be angriest to see win Best Director?
Adam McKay.
That's all that I wanted. That's all that I wanted to do. I was just trying to get that out
How
of
about you
the
though?
way.
Seriously, out of
I
this
guess
list.
I actually like all these films, so I mean, I wouldn't be mad if any of them won, but I don't think Adam McKay should probably win.
It's funny that you like Vice now
I
because
turned on it. You
I
know
want
what?
to
I
tell a
disliked
brief
it.
story.
Yeah, go ahead.
After Vice started screening for people, Chris came in here and he sat at my desk downstairs and he said, "I saw Vice." And I said, "Oh, how was it?" And he said, "It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life."
This is true.
2 weeks later, he came to my desk and said, "I like Vice a lot." I watched it again. I like it a lot.
I watched it again. I was like, this movie is good.
I have watched it again. I've watched it
And
the
it's
first time.
worse for you.
I did not like it. The second time, I really did not like it.
I did not like it the second time because
Yeah.
again I was like, maybe I'll just give it another shot. No,
No, it starts and you're just sitting there going, "Why are you doing all these
But I
things?
think
Why are you
that's
so
what I-
fussy?
No.
Just make a movie."
What's with
That's
the
what I
fish?
liked
That's
about
my
it.
thing. What is with the fish? Like, stop with the fish cutaway.
I liked how it is completely batty, and it just feels like a full-on assault of the audience, which I really like when the audience is just screamed at often.
Just go watch Oliver Stone.
Well, it's definitely not as good as Oliver Stone. I think the more recent comp would be like Wolf of Wall Street, which is 3,000 times better than Vice. But I mean, that's kind of what it reminded me of, where it's just like, this is a movie that's going to like basically just scream at the audience for like 2.5 hours.
Right, except again, the Wolf
Wolf
of
of
Wall
Wall Street's
Street
way better?
had a point.
Yeah.
And Vice, your whole, what are you even screaming about? Why are you screaming?
He's just an old man mad at clouds.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to supporting actress. The nominees are Amy Adams for Vice, Marina de Tavira for Roma, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone, The Favorite, Rachel Weisz, The Favorite. I am saying that Amy Adams will win, and I think it's because of the same reason that Spike Lee might win an award. She's been nominated 5 or 6 times, and never won. So she's got to get that Oscar. Even though I will say this is a nomination for her worst performance out of the nominations.
Even a fan of Vice like myself would agree that I don't think Amy Adams is that good in Vice. I mean,
I don't think it's her fault. She has very little to do in
it's
the
a
scenes.
really underwritten character, and I just don't think she's very, very good in it.
She should win because again, just give the girl a freaking Oscar. She's freaking Amy Adams. She's been nominated so many times.
Is this who you have for who will win as well?
No, I have Marina de Tavira from Roma winning in a huge upset. So I have a really my big conspiracy theory around that is as we talked about, Roma has a ton of nominations. It had 10 nominations, the most of any film, tied with The Favorite. Normally for Best Picture, there is usually an acting win to go alongside it. So if you think Roma is going to win Best Picture, like, it maybe needs to win an acting award. And the other thing is Marina de Tavira was not really on anybody's radar to even be a nominee. So to me, I was like, wow, the fact that she was nominated means that she's got a huge amount of support somewhere in the Academy. So I kind of think, the critical favorite and what a lot of pundits have said is like Regina King would win for If Beale Street Could Talk. But like we mentioned, that movie kind of got blanked out in a lot of big categories. And she also hasn't really won anywhere since the Golden Globes. She won at the Golden Globes, gave a nice speech. She won at the Critics' Choice Awards, was like the week later. And then in all the precursor ceremonies since, like the SAG Award, she wasn't nominated. BAFTA Award, she wasn't nominated. So
who's been winning those?
So the SAG Awards was Emily Blunt, who maybe should have been nominated here for A Quiet Place. And then at BAFTAs, it was Rachel Weisz, who I actually think should win because she's just wonderful in The Favorite. She's clearly the best part. I'd argue she's actually the lead of The Favorite, even though she's not categorized that way. But anyway, this is a long way of saying I think Marina de Tavira could win in a really big upset.
I think Regina King's gonna win.
I would like Regina King to win. I think she should.
Just that one scene in If Beale Street Could Talk just speaks volumes
wonderful
for her. And it's Regina
She's
King.
in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yes. The Oscar scene.
Yes.
Yeah, where she cries.
It just gets me. I mean,
Yeah.
she's fabulous in it. And the hard thing, too, is with The Favorite, when you have two actresses for the same movie going against each other in the same category, it really just kind of evens out, and then they never win.
True.
But you could even see Emma Stone like win this and shock everybody.
This is actually really we've been joking, but I mean, like, this is a really good category, right? Like, I mean, all these outside of Amy Adams, who will say maybe deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award, the rest of these
not her
performances,
fault. You
it's
watch
not her
Vice,
fault,
it's
and
not
she's
her
a great
fault.
actress. But these other 4 performances are like legitimately great performances, I'd argue.
Maybe we'll see a tie. You never know. That's
never know.
But
happening.
it'd
It's
also
a
be
pretty
kind of a
crazy
travesty
category.
to have Marina Tavira win and not have Yalitza win. I mean, Yalitza delivers a pretty incredible performance.
I
in
would
Roma,
agree, but
she's not going
she's
to win
not gonna
Best
win.
Actress. Yeah. I'm going to go. I mean, I would love to see Rachel Weisz or Emma Stone win because The Favorite is, yeah, pretty incredible. And it's anchored by those 3 performances. Yeah. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah.
All right, we've got supporting actor now. Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me, Sam Rockwell for Vice. Chris, who do you think will win and why?
I think Mahershala Ali will win because he's won literally every single award for Green Book in the last 2 months. He's won Golden Globes, SAG Awards, BAFTA Awards, you name it. If there's been an award, Mahershala Ali has won. He's benefiting because it's a category fraud. He's clearly the lead, or he's a co-lead of the movie, so that gives him more screen time than a lot of these other people in the category. And people really love Mahershala Ali, and regardless of the critiques and criticisms against Green Book, even people who don't like the movie seem to be like, well, he's really good. Yeah. And he is really good. I mean, the movie's not, but Mahershala Ali is really good, so I think he's going to win.
I think the same. I think he should win, and I think he will win.
He should win.
Yeah, I mean, he's Mahershala Ali. He's a powerhouse. We were just talking to backstage how True Detective is airing its season finale during the Oscars. So it's kind of like, oh, sorry, Mahershala.
Can't
but
win 'em all.
yeah, you can't win them all. He's just fabulous, and this movie is not great, but he's great in it. But I do love Sam Elliott too.
That's what I'm going to say. That's who I would love to see win. I mean, I know he's probably not going to, but
I just don't know if he has enough in that movie to carry a.
he's got that one look.
Yeah.
Which
He's got
would
one
go-
look. That's literally it.
Which would go a long way in the when they play the clips of the performance.
Yeah, he's not in it enough. I just don't think. I mean, neither is Sam Rock. The Sam Rockwell Vice nomination is outrageous.
Silly. I feel like they
He's
just
in a
could have.
two
I have
scene.
no idea why that could have gone to anybody else and helped promote a
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
That made someone who wasn't famous already.
That's not
but
even.
they
That's
gave
not
it to
even a
him.
good. No, he's not
No.
good in that. Richard
No.
E. Grant is so good too, though. He
Richard E.
really
Grant is so good, and I feel like that if there was an upset, he would probably be the one to win.
He's campaigning
But
beautifully.
He has campaigned really hard, and everybody loves Richard E. Grant. But it's kind of like the nomination is the reward itself. And also, if you're going to split, we're talking about vote splitting between 2 people from the same movie. His narrative and Sam Elliott's narrative is a little similar, where it's like a veteran, respected actor getting a chance to win an Oscar. It's like, well, I could pick Richard E. Grant or Sam Elliott, and there's no consensus there. So that's another reason why Mahershala will win. I have Adam Driver should win. Because I just love him in Black Klansman. I don't think it's his best performance. Certainly, he's done better work recently, including Patterson and all these, even Star Wars, honestly. He's awesome in those. But he's really, really good in Black Klansman. I think the stuff he has to play, especially watching it again with his Jewish identity and how he's kind of dawning on him that, he's also looked at as an other by, white people, is really good subtle stuff that he's weaving into that performance. And
Adam
it's really
Driver
good.
is someone that I think is going to have a hard time winning Academy Awards in his career because he's an effortlessly great actor.
Yeah.
And he's when you watch him, you're like, God, this guy is so amazing, but he's doing nothing to prove to you that he's acting, which all of these are for the most part actors who are proving they're acting as much as possible. It's always with the capital A that wins.
Good way to put it. Very good way to put it.
Let's go with lead actress. Okay. We're getting there. We're almost there, guys. God, you're on the edges of your seats. Look at you.
The buzz in the room is amazing.
The anticipation
They can't
is
wait
palpable.
for the
Oh my
Oscars.
God.
Wow.
This is why this award show is dying.
Yeah, this one right here is bad.
Also, for all the freaking things that the Oscars did.
We should talk about that a little bit. We'll have some time. Let's talk a little bit about how much
That's
of a
more
dumpster
exciting.
fire this Oscar ceremony is
It's
going
a-
to be.
Well, let's start with
Trashy.
August. August, they were like, yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna.
let's do it now. We'll just take a break between nominations and get
that's
into it. Okay, so let's talk. Let's say what has happened. No host,
Yeah.
right?
No host.
And then maybe a host, but then no host, right?
Correct.
Back and forth with Kevin Hart,
Yep.
who had trouble apologizing.
Well,
for
first
some
it was
comments.
Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson was gonna do
Did
it.
he just say no?
So
and then
they
his
released that-
timing and scheduling
Yeah,
was.
they've said that recently. That I think that's damage control. I don't know how real that is because that's come out so recently, but you're right. Like the Academy was like, oh, we approached Dwayne Johnson to host in November or whatever it was, but it was too late because he's making like 3 movies at once and he can't do it. And he's been like, kind of like, oh, it would have been a great show and I would have been super exciting to do it. But part of me is like, how much of that is damage control because he's friends with Kevin Hart and also like wants to probably host the Oscars in the future. So maybe they were like, hey, would you say, like we tried to do something cool, at least like, we made an effort. Like that's basically what it feels like.
So then,
for this host stuff, in August they announced that they wanted, they were going to launch a popular film category, which basically awarded the best box office success, making the best picture category useless.
they're already
insane
doing
award.
that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, but within the nominations, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody are already nominated. So there is Stars Born.
But you would have seen
popular
like
movie.
Avengers. What else?
That was from
Jurassic Park. Like
ABC really pushed them to do like more of a popular Oscar, which is the most insulting thing because does that mean 90 years of Best Picture winners were not popular? Like great, thanks for playing, I guess. So that was a huge failure.
they took that back.
They
Retracted
took that
right.
back. They said they were going to award certain smaller categories in the commercial breaks and then edit the acceptance speeches back into the show at a later time, a la the Tony Awards, which do this.
And these smaller categories were like
Cinematography,
cinematography, editing, which is what filmmaking is all about. Good movies are good, guys, because of those categories. So if you're bored by that, I don't know what to tell you.
And then that was immediately denounced by the most famous people in the world, like Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney, Brad Pitt. They just went nuts, and then they were like, just kidding, we're not going to do that either.
And then there was also, they were going to have the Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress and Actor and Supporting Actor announced by more famous people than the ones who won last year. And then the ones who won last year, who are famous, were like, fuck you.
Like Allison Janney was like, what? And it's tradition. The people who watch...
BBC had to be like, oh, sorry, never mind.
People who watch the Oscars watch it for a reason. Like, we go every year. Like, I know I watch it because I'm a movie fan and I enjoy the Oscars. Like, you're not just going to pull in random people to watch the Oscars if they haven't been interested in them before.
Right. I mean, I think they just don't... they're trying to go back to when 55 million people watched the Oscars, or on a bad year, like 40 million people watched it. And last year, 26 million people watched it, and
26 is
that's still a huge
really
amount.
good.
It's like one of the most widely watched live events of the year. It's certainly the biggest award show, but it's just not enough. They need more people to watch, I guess, for the ads or whatever.
They want like Titanic level.
They want like
viewership.
40, 50 million people,
Which will never happen
and it'll
again.
never happen again.
What is the Super Bowl in terms of
I mean, it's like
millions?
100 million, but this year the Super Bowl dropped like 10%. I forget what the number was, but it was like 103 million. But the game was bad. A lot of that has to do with the movies in the game and all, or whatever you're talking about, but it's just like a different time. People watch TV differently. So the Oscars have been a total disaster. I can't wait to see this. There's no host.
There's no host, so there's just gonna. Well, Queen and Adam Lambert are opening the show.
I wish
Because
it was Adam
again,
Levine.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
It should be Adam Levine. I mean, this is
Why not?
This is what America deserves. It's
Adam
another
Lambert's
Adam
like
Levine
the new
performance.
Queen frontman. So that
Is he
makes
really?
sense. Yeah, he tours with them, and he's basically taken over.
Does he put the teeth in his mouth and act like Austin Powers
Maybe
as well?
Rami Malek could lip sync alongside Adam Lambert from the audience.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's move back onto the categories. Okay, I think this is our last 3 categories. Lead actress, we have Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? I think we are all on the same page for who will and who should, and that's Glenn Close, right? Unless you have a different for who should?
I don't have Glenn Close should win. I have Olivia Colman should win. She's awesome. But I think Glenn Close will win.
Yeah.
Glenn Close will
Yeah,
obviously.
she's great, but it's Glenn freaking Close.
Yeah,
Again,
Glenn Close will obviously win.
7th nomination, right?
Nomination, never
Has never
won. And that's just what this is. It's like, Al Pacino won for Scent of a Woman. A lot of times, very legendary actors or directors do not win for their best performance. They just win because it's their time. It's
even
Glenn
like
Close's time.
Glenn Close gives a great performance in this. It's just a very bad movie. But it's kind of like Julianne Moore with Still Alice. Like, that movie wasn't great.
The Wife
Her
is a
performance
better
was great.
movie than Still Alice, I will say that. The Wife is not that bad of a movie. It's a bit flat, but it's not.
But she's so good in it.
She's amazing
She
in
deserves it. And she's
Yeah.
Glenn Close. Like, everybody's like, Lady Gaga. Here's my thing with Lady Gaga. She's Lady Gaga in A Star is Born, basically, when she changes her hair.
And she's also not as good as Bradley Cooper in A Star is Born.
He is the reason that movie is so good.
He's incredible in it. I think she's very good in it, but I just think Olivia
Love me
Colman
some
should
Gaga,
win
but,
because The Favorite's great.
Yeah.
That was my
And
favorite
Olivia
movie of the
Colman
year,
is-
and Olivia Colman's really incredible. Again, it's category fraud. She's a supporting actor, but sure.
Not if you go by time in the movie. I've heard. I heard if
think
you
it's
count,
like,
if you actually, if it's actually
close. but
Yeah.
she's still. I think the argument I've heard is that while the movie Emma Stone is probably the audience surrogate because she's coming in from the outside into this new world, basically, and Rachel Weisz is definitely the most dominant figure in the film, but they all revolve around Olivia Colman's character. She plays Queen Anne, so that's why she's the lead, and also she's Olivia Colman. I guess
I
they were.
feel like if she ran in supporting, she probably would have won.
If she ran in supporting, she would have won, but would there have been 3? I mean, I guess
No,
it could have
but
been like
if you switch
Godfather Part
Rachel-
2,
yeah.
when there were multiple, actors from the same movie nominated. That would be crazy. I love that kind of stuff. But
I just
sure.
love that this is Olivia Colman's introduction to America for those who haven't known who she was the past few years, and she's going to be in such incredible stuff. Well, hopefully, who knows?
She's gonna be in
what
The
they'll figure
Crown.
out.
She's gonna be the
That's right.
queen in The
She's in
Crown.
and
That'll win an
Fleabag
Emmy,
season
probably,
2 is
right?
coming back, and
Yeah.
she's in
She's
that.
gonna have a few years of award shows, I think.
Okay, lead actor.
Is this just real life?
Christian Bale, Vice, Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born, Willem Dafoe, At Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, Viggo Mortensen, Green Book. We're all on the same page that Rami's going to win for the fake teeth and the Austin Powers impression.
The Oscars just love to give actors awards when they play other famous people, or if they act as another person, and that's just why Rami's gonna win because he put in those fake teeth.
Bohemian Rhapsody might be the worst Best Picture nominee I've ever seen.
I was talking about this earlier with one of my friends, and it's definitely the worst Best Picture probably nominee in our lifetimes, I would say. 40, so I think it might be.
Not just because it's not great or it's not as good as the other movies. It is a shockingly bad movie. And it is so poorly put together and edited and directed and acted. No offense, Rami Malek is great in a lot of things, but not this.
Not good.
No.
I've seen the only defense I could say for his performance, if we're gonna try to find a positive, would be
Oh.
that it's that his physicality.
He does a lot.
His physicality is really impressive, right? I think he has a lot of Freddie Mercury's moves and kind of embodies that in the live performances. But the fact that I can't get past the fact that he's not singing. I think we all have the same should win, which would be Bradley Cooper. Not to talk for both of you, but I certainly have that.
That's what I
Bradley
have.
Cooper literally turned himself into a rock star, right? He wrote the songs, he sings the songs
with Jason
credibly,
Isbell.
but still, he sings the songs credibly. I've seen him sing as Bradley Cooper, and he doesn't sound like Jackson Maine, his character in Star Is Born. So he figured out a way to mess with his voice and train
He
and do all
created
these things.
this character.
It's an unbelievable performance, and the fact that Rami Malek gets up there and lip syncs, though they said he's also he's singing. It's like a blend of him and Freddie Mercury. It's the thing they've been trying to push.
God. A blend.
It's just ridiculous. It's
The whole movie. It's like a blend of reality and fiction. It's not
I
a...
sing battle.
I can't
That's
abide
pretty-
by it. I'm sorry.
I mean, Cooper's so good in A Star Is Born. Rewatching it recently, he makes bad lines work. There are bad lines in A Star Is Born that he makes work really well.
Surprised you said.
Yeah, that whole scene.
I'm
that whole
surprised
scene
you
is such a
said
nightmare.
for screenplay because I was like, the script's not that great.
Yeah, but Adam Levine performed at the Super Bowl. Who knows? It's all trash.
But man, Bradley
this a drag bar?
Bradley Cooper
He sounds
ripped
like-
my heart out in this movie.
greatest.
You don't bare your soul, you ain't gonna have fucking legs.
If you don't bear your soul, I fucking like.
At least you know what he's saying.
It's
I'm
the worst line of
Great.
the movie.
That
It's
is
so
a great
good.
line. Is this a drag bar? It's he sounds like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs mixed with Tom Waits. And it's the greatest performance.
He's trying to be Sam Elliott. That's pretty much what he's trying to do.
And Eddie Vedder. It's a whole blender of voices.
What's so
I
interesting
just
is
love
the
it.
first.
He's
the,
amazing.
The first time I watched the movie, I was really clued into Lady Gaga's performance, I think, and I was like,
too.
oh, she's great. And then the second time I watched it, within the first minute, I was like, no, he is clearly the performance of this movie.
The stuff he's doing
incredible.
is amazing. I think it's it is one of the. I think it will go down in history as one of the bigger travesties. Not to oversell
what
Star Is
happened?
Born. Well, I just think it was an early. We were talking about this before. I think it was an early front runner, and usually that ends up being a tough sell for whatever reason because you're in the limelight for a large amount of time. We saw this with La La Land would be another good example where it's once you're the front runner, it's hard to come back and win. I just think like people are just like tired of you by the time this rolls up. Bradley Cooper didn't really campaign. I think he actually campaigned or wanted to be taken seriously more as a director for it, which didn't work out because he didn't even get nominated in Best Director, which is another shocker. But man, he's so.
I didn't find that shocking because the movie is poorly paced. I like A Star Is Born a lot, but it trails off in the last hour or so. It has some problems.
In interviews, he's been saying how devastated he is. I'm like, this is your first shot at directing, buddy. Like, relax. This is like.
He said that in the interview. He was like, I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't do my
It's
job.
like,
I was like,
what?
stop. This is why you're not going to win anything. Is this attitude?
But I just want him to win Best Actor. Out of these guys, when I looked at, I mean, Christian Bale also hate that movie. He's really good as Dick Cheney. He's really good.
He's very good.
I mean, I could see him kind of sneaking.
Willem
from
Dafoe was
behind.
pretty amazing in At Eternity's Gate. It's not the most amazing movie. I think it's good, but Willem Dafoe is also an actor who deserves an Oscar at a certain point. He will have his Glenn Close moment, I think, because he's never won, right?
No.
But he's been nominated 3 or 5 times.
Florida
Project.
Project.
Florida
he was
Project,
nominated for.
Platoon,
I
I
would
think he was
imagine.
nominated, and I think maybe that movie that he did with Nick Nolte, the other Paul Schrader movie.
I mean, all these-
Affliction wasn't Willem Dafoe?
He was nominated for
he
that.
Okay.
All these actors are great. I love me some Viggo Mortensen too, but Green Book again is bad, and he's really not that great.
Hey, what's the
in it.
matter with Vigo? You don't like his performance?
It's the Green Book. I wore
Okay.
my green dress just for Green
Is
Book.
this
today.
your Green Book dress?
Yeah, it's my Green Book dress.
Okay, should we move on to Best Picture?
Yes.
Okay, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ricky for host, everybody. Ricky for Oscars host.
The favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born, Vice. I say that Green Book will win.
So I don't think it's not an outrageous pick, honestly. A lot of other Oscar pundits have said Green Book is going to win.
From what I understand, from what I've been reading, Roma is being slighted a little bit because of the Netflix thing. I think also because it's too good of a movie for the Oscars. That happens
happens.
quite.
No, you're
no,
right.
that happens all. The Social Network was just too good of a movie for that year.
I think we have, if we can indulge this a little, the reason it's difficult for a very good movie to win sometimes is because the consensus choice usually wins based on the preferential ballot. Lee was mentioning this before. For Best Picture, you rank the nominees, every Oscar voter votes, they rank the nominees 1 through 8. And then, so once those are ranked, whatever movie has the least amount of first place votes gets knocked off. And then those ballots, so let's say it's Vice as the least amount of first place votes, which seems likely based on the list of the nominees. Those Vice ballots will then default to whatever those voters put in the number 2 position. So if a person liked Vice and also liked Roma or Green Book, let's say they like Green Book, then all those Vice ballots go to Green Book, let's say. And then it keeps going in that fashion until one of the movies hits 51%. So it actually helps to get a lot of second place votes and third place votes, often as much as a first place vote. So a movie like Green Book is maybe not everybody's favorite movie, but it's certainly like maybe their second favorite movie based on the Academy's makeup and what we've been seeing all year.
or it is their favorite movie, but they feel like they have to vote for Roma.
So it's like if Green Book gets enough
Honestly,
support,
if Green Book
it
is
could
your
actually
second
win.
favorite movie of the year, then Roma was not your favorite.
No, it was probably like Vice or Bohemian Rhapsody was like maybe your favorite, and then Green Book is your
If
second
Bohemian
favorite. But
Rhapsody
Bohemian Rhapsody
wins-
could win too. Like,
If Bohemian Rhapsody wins,
That's a
it will be the
travesty.
best Oscars ever.
I mean,
It'll be so perfect coming out of the Super Bowl into these Oscars.
the best Oscars
Donald Trump
ever.
is president. It's America. This is the America we live in.
You need
really
a
is
tie with
democracy.
Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody, and then it would be the best Oscars ever.
We need that producer Jordan up there from like 2 years ago. Be like,
yeah.
It's this movie. Like, it's Bohemian Rhapsody.
right, you guys won. So you have Green Book
I have Green Book will win, not should.
and should win for Roma would be for you or Stars.
I have should win Roma. Yeah.
I think Roma will win.
Okay, that's
I think A Star Is Born should win.
Star Is
Come
Born,
on.
I mean-
Out of all these movies, I'm like, which one entertained me the most? A Star Is Born. I loved it. I was bawling at the end of that movie, like crying. That's what movies should do to you. It's just a good movie. It's
It's a solid, boring 45 minutes of Sorry.
Wow.
but the first like 45 minutes of A Star Is
Unbelievable.
Born is
Really
some
great.
of the best filmmaking I've seen
In
in
the
a
last
while.
4 minutes, great.
Yeah.
But between the 45 and the,
pop-
last 4-minute mark,
Pop star Gaga, not not so great.
the pop star sequence is so.
that
it's
just wouldn't
like-
happen for her character.
It wouldn't happen that fast. It wouldn't. She wouldn't have so little to say about
But
it.
even those crappy those crappy 60 minutes I would take over Vice. So,
They got legs.
So I have Black Panther should win and will win. That's my big upset pick.
actually, I could see that happening.
And the
I
reason
really
is,
could.
again, because of what I was just saying with the preferential ballot. I think Black Panther
Chris Rosen going with the most popular Oscar
is the most
choice.
popular movie. I mean, everyone loved Black Panther. I think even no matter what kind of Oscar voter you are, you probably loved and respected Black Panther. It's pretty straightforward, solid, crowd-pleasing filmmaking. And I think if it gets on enough ballots and doesn't get knocked out early, it will have enough second and third place votes to win in a very close race, just on the preferential ballot. I really think it could.
Absolutely not. I completely disagree with that. I'd be willing to bet you a lot of money.
That would
that
be
this
I'll
is
never
shocking,
bet this
too.
because I know it's wrong, but
That
I'm
would be
like,
like the first superhero movie.
It would be the first
to
superhero-
ever,
So then, what do
ever
you
win.
actually think will win?
I actually think, I mean, the safe bet is Roma would win because it's like the favorite, but I do think Black Panther could win. I don't see the reason I don't think Green Book and Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody, they're gonna maybe cancel each other out as problematic faves because, like, I feel like there's a contingent of Oscar voters who are like, I'm gonna vote for Green Book because you woke idiots are telling me I can't like it, which has been like a consistent like drumbeat. And then for Bohemian Rhapsody, I think you're gonna get like the same kind of dumb response.
Can we talk about that for a second? This idea that like it's woke people who are saying you can't like these two movies when it's actually just people being like these movies are not well made. Like my major complaint about Bohemian Rhapsody is not that they get his AIDS diagnosis wrong, is not that it's homophobic, although I do have those complaints about it. My major complaint is that it's just bad.
Yeah.
Also, Bryan Singer directed it. Like,
But even then,
ugh.
go ahead. There's been problematic, bad, rapey directors for years. If you think that that's okay and you can vote for that, that's fine. But just on the face of it as a movie,
Bad movie.
it's a bad movie. It's not well made.
It's a very bad movie, and I think Green Book is too.
Right.
But I think
Black Panther, though,
I think
a good movie.
I think those movies cancel each other out in the problematic sense. I think the support for Roma. I mean, usually you could say that there's just not enough passion around it. I think you're right. I think it's just like, you know, people really respect it, and it maybe is too good to win. I'd be curious to see if people penalize it for being a Netflix movie and stuff. So, I mean, it's a pretty wide open. Say what you will about this year's Oscars, it's going to be a disaster and they have no host. It is one of the rare instances where you're going into Best Picture without actually knowing what is going to win. Like last year, Shape of Water was the heavy favorite. We might have convinced ourselves that Get Out or Lady Bird had a shot to win, or any other movies, but like Shape of Water won everything going in.
Well, look, in my mind, if Shape of Water can win Best Picture, then Bohemian Rhapsody can win Best Picture.
Wow. Come on. Shape of Water was good.
Good. It's
Take
better
that.
than all these movies.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think The Favorite is better. Like, there's a number of great movies here. What is your favorite movie on the list?
My favorite movie on the list would be The Favorite. I loved it. I thought it's so funny. It's like really, really, really funny. And A Star Is Born a close second. I think those are the two really strong movies this year.
We know how I feel, guys.
So yours is A Star Is
It's
Born?
A Star Is Born. I just love it. Who wants to sing Shallow right now? Anybody? No?
It's a great song. Karaoke it.
I think my favorite would be Roma. I think I would do Roma, The Favorite, Star Is Born, Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Where's Vice?
Vice is beneath Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow, that's how much you hated Vice.
This is why I like Ricky.
At the very least, Bohemian Rhapsody, I couldn't stop watching it, partially because of how bad it was, and I was shocked the whole
The
time.
music's good.
But Vice, I found...
That's Queen, but go listen to a Queen record. Like, you don't gotta, everyone's like, the Live Aid concert part is so good. I'm
You
like,
could just go
watch the real
You
thing.
told me that. I'm gonna air this, and I'm gonna air this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, after you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, you're like, yeah, it's bad, but the Live Aid scene is beautiful and really,
It's really good.
technically well done. And then
It is good.
we were watching the movie, and the Live Aid thing came away. This looks like shit. What is this green
It was
screen?
good.
This
I
looks
like
so
the Live Aid
bad.
scene.
It
But,
looks like a bad green screen. Like we shot it over in the 770
It definitely looks like a bad
podcast
green
studio.
screen, and his teeth are really kicking in that scene. They gave him like
It is really
extra
kicking.
an extra mouthpiece, I think, for that one. But no, I
Lip
think that scene
syncing,
is
so it's
fine.
fine. It didn't hinder his
I mean, the
performance.
thing I think with Bohemian Rhapsody is people just really love it. I think they irrationally love it. So it
You guys
doesn't.
like Bohemian Rhapsody out in the crowd? No, good.
Someone does back there. There you
Yeah,
go.
there's one.
And
chick.
anecdotally, it's so pop. I've taken a few cross country flights in the last month, and every single person has watched it. It's like people love that movie for whatever
You
reason.
pull people on the plane?
No, I just
when
see them
when
watching
the seatbelt
it.
light goes off, do you walk around
I
the
just
plane?
see them.
Did
I'm
you
like,
like it?
oh
It's
look,
good,
there's
right?
the Live Aid scene.
How good is the Live Aid scene?
The Live Aid
Of
scene's
course,
pretty
people
good.
are watching if it's on the plane.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they
it's
like
like
it.
it's not
People
made for
actually like it. They're
But
passionate
again,
about it.
it's like a Green Book. call up my dad and mom. They freaking love Green Book. They love Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, parents love both.
Parents
of those.
love it.
Hey, it's a Green Book.
It's time for boomers to stop watching movies. If that's the lesson that
I
we're
also
learning
like
from
A
this.
Star Is Born. So there we go. They got something
Oh
going.
yeah,
for
there
them.
you go.
Guys, thanks so much for being here. It's been a
This
pleasure
was great.
having
Green
you.
Book.
That is it for us. I hope you've enjoyed our opinions. Give these guys a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We really nailed it this year,
This
guys.
was great.
The Academy's going to call us next year to host.
Guys, make sure you enjoy this year's Oscars because it is probably the last. Bye.